Great, I can see we've got some kind of early morning people joining as well. So it's the end of the day for us over in the UK, but it's great to have people in all different time zones joining the meeting as well. So I can see Joanne has shared her screen. So hopefully everybody can see that now. If anybody has any issues seeing that, please let me know and we can kind of make sure we reshare it for yourselves. Okay, well, I think now it might be a kind of a really good time to start the meeting. Obviously, kind of the main reason most people are joining is to kind of hear from Joanne. So that does kind of happen slightly later in the meeting. So if more people do attend, they'll hopefully catch the most important part. So if you can move on to the next slide, Joanne. So really glad to kind of welcome everybody to this meeting today. The purpose of this meeting is to hear the experience of one of our clients. And we're really lucky today to have Joanne here from Ramboll to talk about their experience of using Mail Manager. We really kind of appreciate Joanne taking the time out of her day today, and please feel free, anybody who is attending the meeting today, if you do have any questions either for Joanne or for myself, please do feel free to ask them. And this is a really good opportunity for everybody to learn more about the product and hear from an actual user rather than somebody in the commercial team such as myself. So if you can move on to the next slide, please, Joanne. Perfect. So in terms of what we'll cover today, I've given you kind of a brief introduction to myself and Joanne. So Joanne is, I'm sure she'll tell you a little bit more from yourself, but she's kind of one of the business operational leads at Ramboll, and I'm one of the commercial team here at Mail Manager. We'll go through briefly how we see people are dealing with emails at the moment and the challenges that they're facing. That's only going to be a short section of the meeting, with the main body of the call focused on Ramboll's experience of how they were working before Mail Manager and their experience now their staff are using it and have been using it for multiple years now. Once we've heard from Joanne, we'll spend a little bit of time at the end talking about the onboarding process that you would potentially see if you were to come on board with Mail Manager in the future. We do have time set aside at the end of the call for a Q&A session, but we generally see it's a really good opportunity for you to ask any questions that you have live during the meeting. So please feel free, as I mentioned, to use the chat function, and we can answer any questions as we go, or we can spend a little bit of time covering off those questions at the end of the call as well. Just to kind of let everybody be aware of timings, I know the meeting's been set in everybody's calendar for an hour. We don't see it takes that long, normally half an hour, kind of 35, 40 minutes max. And if anybody does have to drop off as we go through, the call is completely recorded, I think, as you would have heard when you joined the call. So we'll be able to share that recording with you at the end of the meeting as well. Perfect. So if you could move on to the next slide, Joanne. Great. So before we get going in terms of how we see people struggling with emails at the moment, really interested to kind of understand a little bit more about why everybody is attending today. So I'll launch a poll. So please put your kind of vote in this poll to kind of explain why you're joining today. We've given you three options. So it's the first one is you might be currently in conversation with people at Mail Manager about whether it is a solution for your firm. You might be interested in kind of change management or even how Ramboll or Arapa are organizing their emails. Or you may have heard about Mail Manager. You have kind of some interest at the moment, but think that this may be a better system to use further on down the line. So I can see most people have voted so far. I'll give you another couple of seconds just in case people still are there to vote, and I'll end the polling now. So really interesting results. So I'll share those results. Hopefully people can see that. So the majority of people here are debating whether to implement Mail Manager. So if anybody does have any specific questions about the product, how it works, how it is live in somebody's business, please feel free to ask the questions today, just to make sure that we can give you the opportunity to ask these questions to a real life client. So if you could move on to the next slide, please, Joanne. Great. So these are the kind of key concerns that we hear on a daily basis that people in the AEC sector are experiencing with their emails. We are seeing that it's becoming more and more of an issue because the volumes of emails are going up, but also the content of those emails are becoming increasingly important. We're seeing that emails are now the default for sending any commercially sensitive information, and that is the information you're going to have to later rely on if you ever have to defend your position as to why a decision was made or why something happened on a site. We see that it becomes a really big issue because people aren't generally filing their emails at the moment. So that means that emails are becoming siloed in individuals' inboxes. And that becomes an increasingly difficult problem to solve when staff leave the business, or maybe over the last year if staff were furloughed and you didn't have access to their inbox. And that means that being able to defend your case, to find the relevant information that you need to show why you did something on a project becomes increasingly difficult. And you're really kind of relying on your IT teams, your partners, to invest time and effort into finding the relevant emails. If you can move on to the next slide, please, Joanne. So how we see most people organized at the moment is that all their emails probably are accessible eventually, but it takes a lot of time and effort to find them. You might have to get IT involved to access the emails. You might have to download a PST file into your inbox so you can kind of manually sort through, and that kind of takes up a lot of time and kind of increasingly stressful and frustrating effort to get the relevant information. The key people this generally affects are the most important people in the business. It's generally the fee earners and the partners who are the customer-facing individuals within the business, and it's their time that is worth the most, and it's their time that is being lost by having to search through emails. And over the last year, we've put a huge amount of stress on IT teams being able to move to home working, and finding emails is just an extra level of effort that we're having to push onto their plate. So any solution that we can provide to help partners, fee earners, and IT teams hopefully makes a really good business case for the product. I'm sure everybody will be glad to know that's kind of my part of the meeting over and done with for now, and I'll pass over to Joanne and she'll be able to walk you through her presentation.
Hi, good afternoon. So yeah, my name is Joanne. I am the Operational Excellence Manager for Ramboll UK. I'm responsible for all of our software purchases and also integrating them with each other and also into our markets and making sure that we have the right tool for the job for everything that we do. I also work across health and safety and also facilities and in other areas of IT. But today you're just going to benefit from my expertise in software. So who are we? What do Ramboll do? So we provide technical consultancy services and experience as a basis for enabling the execution and planning of projects. We perform holistic analysis of the challenges at hand and provide the multidisciplinary solutions needed to solve these in the most beneficiary way. We provide consultancy on almost every aspect of large projects, from the highly technical details to the processes for successful results. We have a powerful tool in combining our technical consultancy with our social economic analysis. We are the leading experts within a number of technical areas. We are the engineers that other engineers phone. We perform professional project management on a multi-billion-pound projects, as well as smaller, local, more direct projects. And this is complemented with our process management and stakeholder management, enabling successful completion of a broad range of projects. We have a global presence with an exceptionally strong representation in the Nordics, the UK, North America, and continental Europe to an extent, and also MEAP. We combine our global knowledge with our local experience, and we know that we need to have physical presence in local markets to understand the specific needs of our clients. We draw on our combined knowledge and expertise across all disciplines and national borders. Who are our clients? You can see there, they're all listed. Maersk Oil, Statoil, all the Nordic capital cities, Skanska, Balfour Beatty, and these are just our largest clients. There are hundreds more. So how do we work? We use the same approach to project management across the Ramboll Group. Our model is based on an internationally recognized standards and best practice from Ramboll's most experienced project managers. It comprises a stage gate model and tools that are scalable and generic to all projects. Ramboll Project Management provides a clear and structured roadmap throughout the project cycle. This way, clients benefit from the consistent project delivery excellence, innovative solutions, and access to the very best specialist expertise. Ramboll's project model for delivery. So I said that we have a stage gate system, so you can see the stage gates there. And emails arrive in Ramboll's world from the very first stage. And I'll come back to how we're using Mail Manager to get that entire life cycle inside. So the project model is a common platform for how we deliver projects in Ramboll. The project model is operationalized on projects by using the PIT tool, the project integration tool. And the project requirements in Ramboll's project model enable consistency in how we deliver client projects globally to continually improve the level of quality and creativity we bring to our clients. So how does Mail Manager play its part? The bit that you've all turned up for. So Mail Manager is quite simply, it's how we do it here. There is absolutely no question about how you are filing your emails at Ramboll. And it spreads organically from employee to employee. So as new people come in, the people that were already existing in the department or working on the project that they've joined, it spreads organically. This is where you file your emails for this job. And there is no questions asked about how that might be done differently. This is how we do it at Ramboll. The benefits can be seen by the team instantly. Nobody is ever missing an email because they filed it where they were told to on the first day. But annually, this information is there for us to use in our audits. Do you have an audit trail for that change order? Yes, I do, and here it is. But it also supports our retention policies. So we are an engineering consultancy company. So some retention policies are 16 years for the handover project, but some of them are 40. And we need to have access to this information in 40 years' time. More or less, you can guarantee that the person who wrote that email is not going to work here in 40 years' time. I'm still going to have their email. It can help us defend legal challenges, not only from our clients, but also from our employees, if there were to be any. There's never any doubt about who wrote what and when they wrote it, because it is filed in Mail Manager. Nothing is lost when personnel change or leave Ramboll. So yeah, there are a few little quirky things. So I'll give it that you have to press send twice. You press send in Outlook, and then because it knows that it's going to look for a project file because that's your string of emails. Do you want to file this email? Yes, I do. But once you press send twice, it's filed for the rest of eternity. You can never lose your emails. So even though you have to press it twice, we sell the dream here. It's just how we do it. I know that people have, and I think Hugh touched on it. So, we've all been working remotely from one another. Even though I've got my blurred background on, you can very clearly see that I am in the spare bedroom. But nobody's lost any of my emails that I have sent in the last 14 months since I've been at home, because we have a shared file where all our department emails go into, and you press send and file, and everybody can see what I was doing. So whereas previously they might have sat opposite me or next to me and say, what did you say when you replied to such and such and such and such last week? Nobody has those questions at Ramboll because they're filed where they're supposed to be. Integrating Mail Manager into the future. So I said that I would come back to how we have been using Mail Manager of late. So we introduced a new document management system into the project model. When we launched the project model, it sits on the ProjectWise platform. And initially, Mail Manager didn't integrate with it because, why would it? But now it does. So there was absolutely no discussion that we weren't taking Mail Manager with us into the new document management system. the email filing system supported by ProjectWise is inferior to what Mail Manager offer us, and we were not prepared to lose that. So Mail Manager have worked with us to create a software release. At the moment, I believe specifically for us, but I have absolutely no doubt, and I fear I'm about to set you up here, Hugh. I have no doubt that he could probably make it work for anybody else that wants it. So they've created a software release for us that then means that the file locations for all of our emails now work within the ProjectWise platform. So we have essentially future-proofed our mail management and not lost anything that we had previously, and we won't lose anything going forward, because not only was it the way we do things here, it's the way we intend to continue doing things here.
And just if I can ask a question at that point, in terms of that integration process, are you able to kind of elaborate on kind of how that process worked for yourselves? Was it, you know, you reached out to our kind of account management team, or kind of would you or kind of directly to our support team?
Yeah, so we have a project team that were running the ProjectWise project, and they had ideas that they might like to use the already integrated ProjectWise email filing system, and they brought it to us in operational excellence to show us what was on offer, and we all just sat there in dumbstruck amazement that they were going to say that this was better. So I was like, nope, absolutely not. We are using Mail Manager going forward. So I then, so 2 members of our project team got hold of 2 of your guys, I think, actually, probably instructed by me, go and talk to these people. And they set out the requirements that we needed for the ProjectWise integration. And Mail Manager have absolutely, they've worked tirelessly to make this work. Yes, the release has come probably just a month maybe behind our original release of ProjectWise, but if it hadn't have been for their tireless work when we asked them to integrate into this new platform, it would have been in many months, and they have worked absolutely tirelessly with us to get this software release ready for us, and it's ready for deployment now.
Great, perfect. I'll let you carry on with your presentation.
Yeah, so I think, to be fair, that I'd probably reached the end of, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I'm on to questions if anybody wants to ask me any questions. So I realize that some of you have probably got questions on, you know, how did you integrate it and things like that. So to the new people that are going to use this new platform, our new document management system, they will be integrated into Mail Manager by people who already use Mail Manager at Ramboll. And because of the work that Mail Manager have done to create this new software release for us, they will only ever have that software release on their computers, and therefore there will be absolutely minimal disruption to anybody's life, because the new software will just upgrade the software release that anybody is currently working on, and the new people that are joining the system will just have the new one. So I suppose that's our best. I can't say anymore. It's just how we do it here.
Great. Well, we really appreciate kind of you walking it through us, and kind of it's really always good to hear from a happy client. The other side of the coin is, obviously, I imagine over the time period which we have been kind of working together, there has been, hopefully not often, but on odd occasion where you've had to contact our support team. Kind of, have you had any experience with that in terms of how kind of quickly and how easily issues are generally resolved?
Yes, I have. There was a small incident one day last week where I needed to speak to somebody, and honestly, I can email any of the team, and that ranges from, you know, their MD, their CEO, all the way down. I can email any of them and say, this doesn't work, help me, and one of them is back on the phone in under an hour. These people are amazing. You just can't put a price on just how the system has improved anybody's life. I mean, I don't even know what life without Mail Manager was like. It was already here when I started working at Ramboll 9 years ago, and I understood its value and have taken it forward in everything that we do.
Okay, perfect. Well, we really kind of appreciate that. So I can see there are now a few questions coming in. So there's a few that I think I'll kind of hopefully answer. So there's one from an anonymous attendee asking kind of what the process is in terms of pushing Mail Manager out to the businesses that Ramboll acquire. I imagine, as you say, that's just a case of that's how you do it at Ramboll. And
It is. So actually, funny you should, it's an interesting point, because actually that is exactly what this new software release will be doing. So because one of the companies that we had acquired were not using our previous project management system, but they will be using the project model going forward, which is the StageGate system. The filery, as we call the ProjectWise platform, is mandatory as part of that. So therefore, they will require Mail Manager. And that's how we do it. So we do system releases once they are embedded within the company. We do system upgrades and system releases. So then all new jobs from a certain date by inherited companies need to be compliant inside our systems. And by that point, they've already started organically working on jobs with other people that already work for Ramboll, that already use the system. So they're already begging for it by the time that they get given it.
okay, perfect. Yeah, so kind of again, it's just by having that strong kind of process in place and kind of being pushed out. And again, because people enjoy using it, that obviously makes the whole process a lot easier. There's another question from another anonymous attendee about handling sensitive information. So I might kind of start off answering that and then pass that over to yourself, Joanne, to kind of finalize. So in terms of how Mail Manager deals with sensitive information, there are no security settings within our system per se. We mirror the security settings of wherever you're filing into. So if you have access to a folder on a server, or as Joanne mentioned, a cloud-based system where you're storing the information, if you can access that folder, you can file into it and you can search through it. But if you have areas of a server that only directors, only IT, only accounts, only finance, HR can access, only the people that can access those folders through Windows Explorer can file into and can search those folders. So you're not going to be sharing information that you shouldn't be sharing with anybody outside of the relevant team. Is that the process that you have seen how it works at Ramboll, Joanne?
That's exactly how we do it here. Yeah, that's exactly what we do. So the new document management system, so Filery, has access controls on it. By default, all folders are available apart from anything that has staff information in it or anything that has contract information in it. If you choose, when you're setting up your Mail Manager file destinations, if you choose one of those folders to file your emails in, then nobody will be able to see what you are sending. And equally for projects that come under the sensitive MOD projects and things like that, then they have access controls applied to them from the very top.
Perfect. Okay, great. So there's a couple of questions from Arturo's, and I'll answer those on the next slide. And then there's another one from Gavin in terms of how are emails filed and what is the filing structure. So emails are filed as MSG files, so Outlook items. That's the native format for emails. So we don't change any of your information. In terms of the filing structure, again, we don't dictate what the filing structure looks like. We look to map on top of your existing structure. So if you are filing to a server, as Joanne mentioned, Ramboll were, we would see that most companies would create an emails folder to match that of their standard template folders, and we would link to that folder. And Mail Manager, in essence, acts as a bridge between people's inboxes and that destination folder, whether it's in the server, in the cloud, or in kind of whichever document management system you're looking to work with. And then another question, I think must be from Gavin again as well, in terms of how non-project related emails are handled. So everybody will be automatically set up with a personal filing location, and that's somewhere on their own C drive or even their own OneDrive, where they can file emails, as you mentioned, that are not work related. So if you are having maybe kind of your pay slip sent to you electronically, and you don't obviously want that shared with the business, you can file that to your own C drive so that you can access it and you can keep a track of it, but others within the business aren't able to. So if you're able to move to the next slide, Joanne. So I would, oh, that's the Ramboll slide again. So in terms of Mail Manager onboarding, we generally see that this process is hopefully really painless for yourselves. So because Mail Manager is an Outlook plugin, installation generally takes around 60 to 90 minutes. On that first day, we also provide training sessions so that your users are fully comfortable using the system from day one. After the 30 days, we present back usage figures, but also can run a separate Q&A session. So if there are any questions or any kind of difficult users within that first month, we can make sure that the rollout goes as smoothly as possible. Because as it said at the top, senior level buy-in is really important, but also making sure that the solution is set to work from day one is a really key way of making sure the product is successful. So hopefully that answers your question, Arturo. I think I've seen the final question that's in at the moment, unless anybody else has any other questions. Has there been any challenges in transitioning from kind of existing systems or to new solutions that you've seen, Joanne, that if you were to do everything differently again, you would change how you did it?
Gosh, if I had to do it differently, how would I do it differently again? I think part of the problem has been moving from our server solution to the cloud solution. ProjectWise is just such a revolutionary different way of doing things than how we had previously set up everything. So previously everything is, you know, Ramboll branded and looks like it belongs to Ramboll, whereas ProjectWise looks like it belongs to somewhere else. It looks more like a file explorer than it does than how we've previously done it. I think that's been the challenge, trying to get people to understand that what we are rolling out is indeed what is being rolled out by Ramboll, because they're used to everything looking like it came from Ramboll. Knowing 3 months previously that the email solution in ProjectWise was absolutely nowhere near as good as what we already had, we would have then had that ready to roll out. We were on the back foot when we started. And if we'd known that 3 months before, then we would have been a lot further forward when we launched it a month ago. I think those will probably be the things that I would change. You know, I definitely, it looks different. I think that's, you know, it's really hard to change how people do things anyway. And when you change them to do something that looks so different from how you've done it before, I think that would be my biggest thing. If I could make it look the same as it did before, people don't notice that things have changed when it looks similar.
Yes, I think that's a really good point, that kind of it is a slightly different look and feel. People will still be using Outlook, but there is kind of just a few different buttons there, and that's why we're really keen on kind of buy-in and kind of a clear understanding for the users as what it looks like and how to use it from day one. So I think there's one final slide in terms of giving everybody a summary about what we've covered so far today. So hopefully everybody has felt free to ask any questions. If there are any final questions, please do send them across. After this meeting, we can kind of send you a one-page guide about how you've seen companies come on board during uncertain times, when people might not be in the office, when you might not be able to kind of freely talk to each other about these different solutions. And obviously, if you have any questions about how Mail Manager can work for your company in particular, we can arrange a time either with myself or one of the other commercial team here at Mail Manager, and we can talk you through how the product would work in your specific environment. So I think that's everything from me. So thank you everybody for attending today. If anybody does have any questions, please feel free to email myself or anybody in the Mail Manager team, and we'll be able to get back to you as soon as possible. I need to say a big thank you for Joanne and everybody for attending. Hopefully everybody got a real benefit from hearing from a real life client today. And yeah, I really appreciate everybody's time. So thank you very much, and hopefully we'll speak to you all again soon.
Thank you.